Buddha and the Power of Honesty. The Young Merchant's Dilemma. In the city of Rajagaha during the time of the Buddha, there lived a young merchant named Ananda. He was honest and hard-working, but he struggled to make a living. His father had been a wealthy trader, but due to misfortune, the family lost most of their wealth. Ananda had inherited only a small shop, which he ran with integrity, refusing to deceive his customers for profit. One day, an old trader named Jataka visited Ananda's shop. He was known for his shrewdness and had made a fortune by sometimes bending the truth to gain profit. Jataka observed Ananda's business and said, "Young man, honesty is a virtue, but in trade, you must be clever. If you always tell the truth, you will never prosper." Ananda respectfully replied, "Respected elder, I believe that wealth gained through deception does not bring true peace. I would rather be poor and honest than rich and troubled." Jataka laughed and said, "Then you will always struggle. Mark my words, honesty does not fill one's stomach." The lost treasure. One evening, as Ananda was closing his shop, a distressed farmer named Somapala arrived. "Young merchant," he said, "I was on my way to buy grains from the market when I dropped my bag of gold coins somewhere along the street. It contained my entire savings. Have you seen it?" Ananda had indeed found a bag of gold while sweeping in front of his shop earlier that evening. He had kept it safely, hoping the rightful owner would come looking for it. He immediately went inside, brought out the bag, and handed it to Somapala. The farmer's eyes widened in disbelief. "You found my gold and returned it? Any other merchant would have kept it." Ananda smiled. "Honesty is my greatest wealth. How could I keep something that does not belong to me?" Somapala was so moved that he spread the news of Ananda's honesty throughout the city. Soon, more people began trusting him, and his business flourished. The test of honesty. One day, a wealthy nobleman named King Bimbisara, a great admirer of the Buddha, heard about Ananda's honesty. He decided to test the young merchant. He disguised himself as a poor traveler and visited Ananda's shop, carrying a pouch filled with precious gems. Pretending to be in distress, he told Ananda that he had lost his money and needed food. Ananda, without hesitation, offered him food and a place to rest. The nobleman left his pouch of gems on the counter and departed. The next day, the disguised nobleman returned and asked, "Merchant, I lost a small pouch in your shop. Did you find it?" Ananda brought the pouch and handed it to him, saying, "I found this on the counter. It must be yours." The nobleman smiled and revealed his identity. "I am King Bimbisara. Your honesty has earned my admiration. The gems were a test, and you have passed with honor." Ananda bowed humbly, saying, "Your Majesty, honesty needs no reward. It is a virtue that brings its own peace." The Buddha's teaching. News of Ananda's honesty reached the Buddha, who was residing in the Jetavana monastery. One day, as Ananda visited the monastery to hear the Buddha's teachings, the monks asked the Blessed One, "Venerable Sir, how important is honesty in life?" The Buddha smiled and began telling a story from one of his past lives. "In a past life, I was a king who ruled with honesty. One day, I disguised myself as a commoner to see if my people were honest. I met a poor man who found a bag of gold and, despite his poverty, returned it to its owner. Seeing this, I understood that honesty is not just about wealth, it is about the purity of one's heart. Honesty leads to peace and happiness, while dishonesty brings fear and suffering." He then turned to Ananda and said, "You, young merchant, have walked the path of righteousness. True wealth is not measured in gold, but in the purity of one's soul. You have gained the greatest treasure, inner peace." Ananda bowed and said, "Blessed One, your words confirm what my heart always believed. I shall continue to walk the path of honesty." The fruits of truthfulness. Over the years, Ananda's reputation grew, and his small shop turned into a prosperous business. However, he remained humble, helping the needy and sharing his wealth with the less fortunate. He became a disciple of the Buddha and followed his teachings with devotion. One day, as he sat under a Bodhi tree, He reflected on his journey. He realized that while wealth comes and goes, the peace of an honest heart remains forever. He knew that by following the Buddha's teachings, he had not only gained success but had also found true happiness. And thus, Ananda's story became an example of the power of honesty, inspiring many generations to walk the path of truth. Moral: honesty is a virtue that leads to inner peace, trust, and lasting happiness. Wealth gained through dishonesty may bring temporary success, but true fulfillment comes from a pure and truthful heart.